Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Frankie and I create videos on lifestyle, development, careers and faith. And today we're going to talk about a day in the life of a policy and public affairs officer. For those of you that don't know, I work as a policy and public affairs officer. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the things I enjoy in my role, why I decided to go into policy and public affairs, and some of the skills that are needed in this role. I'm not a careers advisor or a HR professional or anything of the sort, but this is just from my personal experience. So I guess the first question would be, what is policy and public affairs? And so a policy and public affairs officer is essentially, I feel like it's two roles merged into one, because sometimes when you look online for jobs, you can see policy officer, you can see public affairs officer, but yeah, my role is merged into one, I believe. And some companies can separate it, some merge it. But in my role, I build upon stakeholder engagement. I spot opportunities to influence policy, create briefings, lead and support on projects, drafting and producing written material. This could vary depending on the company or the organization you work for, but these are just some of the tasks that I carry out. So why I chose to go into policy and public affairs? The reason why I decided to go into policy and public affairs is because I have a genuine interest in this field, and I love roles where you can actually see the impact that you're making. And so for me, being able to see that the work that I have done has had a positive impact on someone else is something that keeps me encouraged, that keeps me driven, and it's something that I'm passionate about. And I knew that this role would allow me to develop and grow, and I'd be working in a role that I would enjoy. So what do I enjoy most about my role is probably the next thing that we should talk about. So I enjoy the varied nature of my role. I'm someone who likes to work on different tasks because that keeps me engaged, that keeps me motivated, and it keeps me interested. And I think that because this role is essentially basically two roles merged into one, allows me to have different tasks and a varied workload. I'm someone who's also interested in politics, policy and public affairs. And so this role works for me because I'm working in an area that I'm interested in. And I also enjoy reading, writing and analysing. And this is what I would do on a day-to-day. And so I feel like I'm working in a role that I'm passionate about, that I enjoy, and that I can see myself being engaged in. I also, like I mentioned, like this role because I feel like I'm making a positive impact, and I'm someone who likes to work in areas where I can make change. And so for me, this is rewarding, encouraging, and it motivates me to want to do more. So we're now just going to move on to what are some of the challenges in my role. I will say that this role can have periods where it feels a bit fast paced, and you can find yourself working on multiple tasks with close deadlines. But I think it's important to just kind of stay organized and know how to prioritize your workload. That's helped me, and I always kind of plan my day to day. Well, have a rough idea at least of what I want to do in the day, what I want to achieve, and that helps me to kind of stay on track. I think also having realistic expectations, and this is in relation to policy change. I think one of the challenges is that working in policy, it's not something that change doesn't happen overnight. In policy, it takes time and it is a process. And I think that can some people can be demotivated by that, but for me, I always remember my why and why I want this to work, and why do I want to push for change, and that keeps me motivated and it keeps me determined. So we're now going to talk about some of the skills that you use in this role. And so having stakeholder engagement skills, being able to maintain and build relationships with different people, different organizations is critical in terms of making sure you're able to get support for the changes that you want to make. Written and verbal communication, you need to be able to clearly explain policy ideas, policy positions, and communicate them in a way that people can understand your why, and why this policy change or why this particular recommendation you're putting forward is so important. Presentation skills, I believe that ties in very well with what I just previously said. Being analytical and persuasive, you need to be able to analyze information. You need to be able to find out, okay, this is an area actually where we could look at, we could explore. So just keeping a close eye to developments that take place. Attention to detail, again, that links in with what I just previously said. Working as part of a team, I think this is important because you're going to be working with different people, different groups, different organizations to kind of meet aims and targets. So it's important that you have great people skills and you're able to kind of engage and maintain relationships with people. Organization and prioritization, like I mentioned, sometimes you might have periods where the work is a bit more fast paced, where there's a lot more work coming in, and that's where it's key to stay organized so that you're not missing deadlines, and so that you're not overwhelmed, and also so that you can keep track of some of the things that you've actually accomplished as well. Now, this is just a very short video about what a policy and public affairs officer entails. Again, this is from my experience. And so, like I said, I'm not a careers expert, but I hope this has been useful in sharing my experience with you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video, if you found it interesting, because this allows me to know whether you're enjoying the content, and it helps me to create more videos that are helpful. But yeah, thank you for watching, and bye.